I had an idea 6 years ago to do a show, and then, in my mind there were these really handsome men that came and took the canvases outside, and outside was this huge garden, and laid them on top of each other, and then I burnt them, and then with my guests, with the guests of the show, we all just watched it kind of burn. I think.
The title of the show is a punctuation mark, or a period, usually denoting the end of something, the end of a sentence. Can you explain a little bit about why you chose the title and how it relates to the theme of the show?
So
give it the end.
It's funny, because I sort of spent my whole life preaching this idea of fluidity, and I think the reality is, for me, fluidity has always been a deconstructed idea. So the whole idea of destruction being separate to that period of recreation, and then separate again to the period of just that maintenance of like nothing, neither of those two. And I think a full stop to me, to everyone, as it punctuates the end of something, and that full stop, I guess, in regards to this show, represents mass destruction, the end of a period of time.
It's pretty concise.
It is. It's a perfect little circle. But also in contemplation of the whole idea of the end, and the meaning of the word perfect, or the idea to reach perfection, the Latin derivative of the word meaning literally to end. I guess, I'm not saying my works are perfect, but the feeling of the end of something is within myself a feeling of completion and perfection in one moment. It's just, that's it.
How do you perceive the notion of destruction? Why did you feel compelled to make such a destructive statement?
I think it's funny, white, it could mean so many different things to so many different people. It's the combination of all the colours. To me, it's the loudest of all. White noise. I don't know why we consider white noise a background sound. Could you think of anything worse than this? Being in a white room with white noise, to me, it is an extremely aggressive colour. And I think the thing that's the most aggressive element of it is that it is seemingly silent. I think that's probably a bit of a personality fault. I don't know how to.
I wouldn't say
it's not. I don't generally end things quietly. If you don't make a real point of that destruction, then how do you know that it's really? I like to do things definitively, like like a burning fire behind you, like a motorbike, rather than just walking away.
One of my most vivid memories of you was New Year's Eve. I think it was like 8 years ago now. And you left the New Year's Eve party like at 5 to 12, right before the fireworks, and you're just like, I have to go and paint. And I was like, what? I have to go and paint. And then that pattern of like leaving the night to just go and do your thing by yourself was this regular occurrence for the next year. And I remember asking you to see some of what you were creating, and you were like, I'm painting over it in white. And I was like, why? You're destroying your works. And I'm just curious, is this kind of circling back to where you started, or is the meaning of why you're doing this now different to why you did it then?
I think, the answer to that is both. I honestly think we're all born, and remember we were having that night once, and I decided I was going to write a book called "You're Never Fucking Gonna Change." A part of this process is exactly what I used to do, back then, and a part of it's evolved. I think, the feeling of everyone knows the feeling of a bit of hardship, and the strength that you have to pull together within yourself takes time. So that time you're pulling that strength together, that's one period of time. the moment you move with that strength, and that's the moment that I want to sort of represent with this show. And so painting over it white, it happens. It doesn't. It's not a thought out process. So I paint for weeks and weeks and weeks on a body of work.
Yeah.
And then there's just one moment where it has to be destroyed. And I don't mean that in an aggressive or violent way. It just for me, the power that the work holds for myself, for complete selfish reasons, is the best when no one sees it, and it's in my control to destruct it.
Yeah. So did you have to stop like a shave before you destroyed it and actually say, I'm going to show this to people now?
It's an extremely exposing, vulnerable, nervous space, but I think little by little, I plan on, opening up a bit more with the works. So I have left some of the works of the show in their previous form, so that I can show the progression of, the layers and layers and layers. So I've literally started extremely deconstructed, and then say 10 more layers on, and then crescendo, and then the full stop, which is the white.
Just the white?
Yeah.
So as your audience watches you whitewash over all of this incredible vivid colour that you've become really known for, I can almost feel that feeling I felt when you first told me you were painting over all of your work in white back in the day, of like, stop, no, don't do that. And it's this feeling of tension that inevitably arises from watching something beautiful be destroyed. Is that what you're hoping the audience, like, what are you hoping people will walk away with from this?
To be honest, you could call it being selfish or even self-indulgent. God, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead. All I know is, my motivation for doing it. When my mum passed away about 15 years ago, I think that's when I really learned the beauty of the moment. So when she passed away, I got rid of everything, which is, I have moments where I regret certain things, little things here and there, but it was an extremely therapeutic feeling for me, and I think a part of the destruction of the work for the show is in line with that. It's to sort of illustrate the beauty of having something, knowing that nothing is infinite, really, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Is there a sadness that comes with it for you, or is it just all liberation?
I don't think there can be liberation without sadness.
So it's kind of the closest replication to you in your garage.
Yes.
When you first started painting over in white with your bottle of whiskey by yourself.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're returning to with this.
100%. When we have exhibitions here, they're parties and they're so fun, and but that's not. It's a really different feeling.
Yeah.
And I want to bring people into that space, the garage, that slanted garage that created my whole aesthetic is actually based on the slant. So now I recreate that because my studio is flat. But yeah, I've gotten back to that place, and I have a desire to share that with people. It feels so good to break things.